Mhm. Good morning, everybody. The dharma is incomparably profound and minutely subtle. It's rarely encountered in hundreds of thousands and millions of kalpas. We can now see it, hear it, and hold it. Maybe understand the Tathagata's true meaning. Perhaps better would be, may we realize the Tathagata's true meaning. There is a fundamental difference between understanding and realization, isn't there? Thank you for joining me this morning in this little talk, a little dharma talk, if you will. Um, I'd like to talk this morning about everyday life, sipping coffee, for example. We're listening to Mozart on Spotify. We're talking with a student on Google Meets, or going to the bathroom, or just sitting here, quiet, incense burning in the background. Everyday life can be incredibly sweet, it can also be incredibly difficult. Every day we meet conditions wherein there is suffering. We see people hungry or injured or in need of something, medicine, medical care, or maybe just love. Are we there to meet their needs? Are we fully present with ourselves in that process? I don't know. I do know that our practice, the practice of Zazen, is a practice of getting to know how to be in the world. It's not so much a stepping stone to enlightenment, as Dogen says, it is enlightenment itself, practice realization. But that's meant in a certain way, it seems to me. That's meant to take the position, the mind that we have on the cushion into the world of the everyday. So when we sit, we just sit. When we sip coffee, we just sip coffee. When we listen to Mozart, we just listen to Mozart. It's important to know the difference, for example, between thinking and being or directly experiencing. Somebody on Facebook posted a note asking about is there anti intellectualism in Zen? As you can see from the books behind me on my side, there's no shortage of intellectualism in this priesthood. But it's important to recognize that study, if we're simply studying, is a dharma gate, is a practice. Thinking is a practice. There's a time and a place for it. As Dogen said in his instructions to the cook, there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time for the cook to plan the next meal. And in that time, that's what the cook does, plans the next meal. So when we're studying, that's what we do. We study. And in that study, we're practicing Zen. It's important not to confuse one thing for the other, though. That is to say, it's kind of like the finger pointing to the moon. Which is it? Are we studying? And is that the moon? Or is studying something we're doing, we think, as a method of getting to the moon? We think of studying as a method of getting to the moon. We're in a dualism. When we're considering studying as just studying, thinking as just thinking, and we're aware of the fact that we're just thinking, then that is Zen. That is direct experience. Thinking about something is not direct experience. Thinking about eating a watermelon is not eating watermelon. It's not the finger. It's not the moon. It's the finger pointing to the moon. So what do we have to do? We have to eat the watermelon. We have to directly experience the watermelon. So when we're thinking, we just directly experience thinking. That's what we do. When we walk, we walk. When we sit, we sit. Above all, we don't wobble. And in that process of walking, we just walk. We are aware we're just walking. And in the process of lying down, we're just lying down. We're not thinking about lying down and walking and lying down. We're just walking, or we're just sitting. So, in everyday life, Zen is about being in the moment itself directly, experiencing what we're experiencing fully in that moment. I would hope that we practice that our experience in the cushion gives us an insight into how to do that. And that's good enough. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and you too take good care of yourself. Now I'm going to go back to Mozart and perhaps my wonderful little instrument here called a bowed psaltery. It's an instrument that I can play with one hand by holding it and taking the bow and moving it across the strings. Something like that. Take care, y'all. Be well.